I'm from Eskasoni First Nation and Millbrook First Nation. I grew up in both communities from the time I was a child right up to when I was 17 years old when I decided to move away for school. When I was younger, I didn't know anything about being gay or being two-spirited or any of the social markers that we use. When I lived in Millbrook, I started thinking perhaps that I had something different about me. And then when I moved away to finish my high school in Quebec and then start my stage up and go on to Canada World Youth, I started exploring identity about who I am, as well as being Mi'kmaq, being away from my community, and also understanding that identity is part of many things: culture, language, beliefs, and values. Back in the 80s, predominantly in our communities, Millbrook and Eskasoni, which is Mi'kmaq speaking, we didn't have words for gay, lesbian, bisexual. We had other words. We used the colloquial words or the popular words that were used then that were negative in connotation. I came to the term two-spirited one day. This person tells me, "So I heard you came out, you're two-spirited." And I said, "Two-spirited? No, I'm not. What is that?" So I started asking myself that, and then that brought me to the Mount, really. I started looking at the opportunity to understand a little bit more from an academic perspective what it is to be two-spirited, if it's something relatable in our language or if it's something relatable to our perspective and our worldview. So the task was to understand who we are as two-spirit people, but then it also brought me to look at closely what our language says about identity. Mi'kmaq are authors of our own fate. We determine how we want to build pathways. So I said, well, we have a whole source of people here. Why don't we start looking at what we could do on campus? And so I got into an advisory role with the president, Ramona Lumpkin, and then the first thing she had asked me was, how can we engage the Mi'kmaq and the Indigenous community? I said, well, we need other champions to help us with this process. We need to do it as a community. We need the university to reach out to my community. We need to bridge that. So I was a messenger, playing that process of bringing people together, and then once that started happening, dialogue started happening, and we started identifying what our priorities are, what we needed for our students. That's how we got the Aboriginal Centre started. That's how we brought in the first Aboriginal advisor. Then it started to pave the way for other things. I think what I've done at the Mount is take full advantage of the opportunities for creating my own knowledge, creating my own spaces, and making those my's into ours. Part of our collective and tribal consciousness is to work within a sense of working for us. Sure, I have an institutional loyalty to the Mount because it's my alma mater, but that's not my first priority. My first priority is to our community. And the Mount was able to take part and understand that process. I was able to reach out to the Mount constantly and say, I need your advice on this, I need your support on this, I need you to listen to this idea, and they always did. So I took advantage of those resources. I think that's important. Being a resourceful person, I think that's the message that we're going to try to take back to our community, is that we need post-secondary education students to be very resourceful, to be self-advocates, to come to the institutions like Mount and find their space, find their supports, and make sure that they navigate what they can. If that door closes, there's going to be another door. And if that door doesn't open, then you're going to have to open it. And that's what I found has happened at the Mount. We've opened many, many doors, and those opportunities are small legacies that one student will take to the next student, to the next student. It's very important. Ginudu Masudi, Edawe Giskuk, nokoti deok, juguidano, kisna sioidano, sioi gnudamasutino, goi minuagedio, kisna goi gnudamasid when Eliada University kisna college. Momeduek kenuk. Meduek tancho mugisigina masun, meduek tancho mugisida soon, basa bemiad na masia tancho gulajik squijnug, a gulajik gizigu, a buluek laman gizabon muta kil, dan gnudel lugana, dan gnudamasin. Jugue, siwasi, a sio gnudamasi. Walani.